Okay, hello everyone. I'm sorry that this is late or that I haven't done a review yet for the last episode, which was The Time of the Angels. It was basically because I didn't have too much to say and I wanted to wait to see the second part before I said anything. And I've been super busy because as if you watch my other channels, I graduate next month in June. So everything's kind of like crazy right now. So sorry. And also Rosanna had a ton of stuff to do and she's going back to university today, which has been very busy. It's a busy time of the year. But I'm just gonna go on with the review for both of the episodes. First things first, I honestly did not have too much to say in terms of the Time of the Angels. I don't know, I didn't take any real notes. My only notes were that Bob the Angel, sorry for Skype noises, that Bob the Angel was the one chosen of all the people the angels killed to use his voice. I thought that was kind of, to be like the communicator with the doctor, they used his voice. I thought that was kind of funny because he has the least intimidating voice. Another thing I wanted to ask you guys is, do you think the gun was necessary? I mean, I kind of get what it did, but I don't know, it seemed like I feel like he could have done that with his sonic screwdriver or something. I feel like it was more for shock value, like, oh, the doctor's holding the gun, and for the promotional and the promotional things and the adverts and everything like that. I think it was more for show than purpose. Okay, now I'm just gonna move on. Most of the rest of these will be about Flesh and Stone because I preferred that episode and I took tons of notes. Okay, my first big, these are all out of order by the way, my first big question mark is kind of referring to how the weeping angels fell through the crack in time. And does that mean that Sally Sparrow, like Blink, the episode Blink, just never happened and all those people never got sent back in time and all that stuff? Or is it just those angels that fell back in time, those specific ones? Because Dennis and I, my boyfriend and I, were talking about it, and he thinks that if one Dalek, for instance, fell through the crack in time, then all Daleks would be erased. I think it would just be like everything that one Dalek has done never happened. So like if he killed 10 people, those 10 people would still be alive. What do you think on that? Do you think that all Weeping Angels are now destroyed? Or do you think that the other ones that weren't here in this episode are still alive, so to speak? One of my favorite parts of this episode was the quotation that the doctor said, and that was, "I'll hold you personally responsible twice." And it's just honestly a selfish thing because I'm always saying that. I always say that. I say it very sarcastically, so like, do we want to go to this? Oh yeah, I'll go to that twice. And I don't know, I say it so much. It's, ask any of my friends in real life, and I say it a lot. So when he said that, I felt so awesome for 30 seconds. Forest in this episode was the Forest of Dean, and I love Harry Potter Doctor Who crossovers, so that was awesome. We finally saw the angels move. That was awesome. They were really cool. Though I don't completely understand how, like, they didn't know that she couldn't see them. Does the quantum lock understand? Like, do they care what the angels think? Like, that they think that Amy's not, or that Amy's seeing them? I don't know. I was kind of confused by that. I thought it would be, like, somewhere in their internal structure that made them, you know, be able to move when no one's looking. Like, she's walking normally, so she must have her eyes open now. Especially because she definitely wasn't walking like she could see. Really enjoyed the moment with Octavian and the doctor. I really love Matt Smith. I don't care what anyone says. I think he's so good, and he's such a great doctor. That moment was just so good. I'm going to admit that I know I shouldn't. Okay, so I'm really torn, because there's definitely that paternal instinct towards Amy the doctor has, but at the same time I really don't want it to be paternal. I definitely see possibilities in their relationship, and I think that their chemistry as Matt Smith and Karen Gillan, is so good. Like, they have this they have such good potential for a great couple that if it makes it so hard for me to want them to have this like father-daughter kind of feeling going on. There was that moment in the forest that was so cute when he comes back, but I have thoughts on that in a second. This, like, my big moment for me because it was a theory that I thought of, and then I realized that a lot of other people thought it too, but I thought of it before looking at other people's reactions and stuff. Anyway, yeah, I love that moment. It was so sweet, and oh, it was so good. But okay, so my theory is, you've probably heard it because it's all over the internet now, but I swear I thought this right after I saw the episode. And that's that doctor is from the future. The one when he comes back and he puts his hands on her hands. The reason being, A, he has his jacket back, and he didn't have it in the scene before, he didn't have it in the scene after, it was just that scene. B, he seemed to be trying to keep it on the down low that he was there. He was really quiet, he was kind of looking around as though he didn't want to be caught by the soldiers or the other him, possibly. He also, next thing, see, he also didn't seem to notice, or, like, he didn't seem to be acting like he had returned and had this, like, sort of intimate moment between him and Amy when he comes back in the next scene. It was kind of like it never happened. And I thought that was really interesting. The chemistry between the two of them was also a lot more developed, I think, that they had known each other longer, it felt like, in that moment than the rest of the episode, or up to this point. He was, instead of before, he was just kind of sitting next to her and then he, like, pat her on the head. This time when he comes back, he has his hands on her hands and then he's pressing his forehead. It was much closer, and they'd known each other for longer. So I think that is something to think about if you haven't. And tell me if you agree that you think he's from the future. Also, it's not really clear as to what he means when he says, remember what I told you when you were 7. Because yes, it could be the I'll be back in 5 minutes or the it will be alright. But why would he say, I don't remember what the exact line was, but it was kind of like, that's not important. It's not important. You have to remember. I can't tell you. And so that was kind of ambiguous, so we'll see about that too. I'm glad we saw Amy's abandonment issues resurface, as well as 11's temper. I love his temper. I think that's really edgy and really cool, and something that we haven't seen. Like, we saw it in 9, but I feel like that was more justified, and this is just seems to be like a problem that he has. Like, he has a bad temper, and I think that's a really cool character thing that is very 11, and it's not carried over. It's like the first thing I've really noticed that's very 11. Amy's counting was very interesting. I really liked that anticipation for figuring out when they would notice, and then, or when they would really notice it was an issue, and then what she was counting down to. By the way, her acting was fantastic. Karen was so good in this episode. I was talking to my friend Leah about it, and she mentioned that when she had her eyes closed, it was like she couldn't speak either. She kind of turned into her 7-year-old self again. She was very childlike, and I don't know, I really liked her in this episode. I'm sorry, I still don't like River Song. I gave her a shot, but I do think she's just so patronizing a lot of the time. This time she wasn't as bad, but in Silence of the Library, I felt like she was just constantly being patronizing to the doctor. Like, you're not good enough yet. I'm better than you because I've seen you in the future and I know more stuff, blah, blah, blah. But this one, I don't know, it's still there. Obviously, there's the did she kill the future doctor thing going on, but I don't really want to think about that too much because we probably won't hear from her for another, either at the very end of the season or not for a few seasons down the line. I mean, it seems to me that they're kind of leading us on to think that she killed the future doctor, but who knows. The trees are going out was the stars are going out, as well as the key to the universe was very Donna. Get to the ending in a second, but during the ending scene, it hit him like she's this really important key to the universe kind of thing, and that was very Donna. I don't know if that was intentional or maybe I'm looking into it too much. My note for the end of the episode was LOL OMG Amy Pond, doing what everyone else wishes they could do. So I think that kind of sums it up. It's kind of sad to see that this is her way of coping with everything that's happened to her. I don't know. The doctor was just hilarious. His playing dumb was great. I don't want to make this video too much about the ending because I feel like a lot of people missed out on the rest of the episode because they were so freaked out by the ending by Amy. I think Amy's fantastic, and I think that she's sad that this is her way of coping with everything that's happened to her. I was talking to Leah, and she was talking about how this is the same girl who went through 4 therapists because she kept biting them. Like, she's troubled, and this is her way of coping with it, is kind of needless to say. But yeah, it was sad, and the fact that she didn't seem to show any remorse for the fact that she was trying to seduce this stranger, as she said, the night before her wedding. I don't know. It's troubling. This was a really long video. I'm looking at it right now. It's 16 minutes. hopefully I can edit this down as much as possible. If not, I'm sorry. It has a lot of content, so maybe that is better than a short video with less content. Okay, I'm excited for the next episode. Can't wait to see more of Rory and his adorable t-shirt. If you didn't notice the t-shirt, go back and watch the episode, or the last 2 seconds of it when they're showing the preview for the next episode. And I will see you guys next week. Alonzi Alonzo!